I'm Lynn Miller, and I have the great pleasure to work with the youth at St. Matthew's. The high school graduating seniors, once again, are an amazing group. They can be characterized with high GPAs, marching band, lacrosse, AP classes, orchestra, AP art, piano, international trips, scouts, tennis, field hockey, volleyball, after-school jobs, and stellar ACT scores. Somehow, in addition to all those activities, they also have been wonderful volunteers at St. Matthew's. They've been acolytes and chalice bearers, lectors, been on the vestry, been on the search committee, been church school teachers for some of the younger children, babysitting at Cornerstone, food pantry workers, monthly cookie bakers for the food pantry, and youth group members. I think most of us as adults can't quite imagine how kids these days can do all they do. But we're very fortunate at St. Matthew's that we have an amazing group of young people that I've had the great privilege to work with and know. And I have received so many blessings from them and will be forever grateful. The one thing that I would like for them to know going forward is that I will always love you. This parish will always love you. And most importantly, God will always love you. So we have three speakers today. The first is Kate Wagner, then Bryce Schmidt, then Kimberly Sparks.
Okay, just a heads up, public speaking is not my area of comfort or happiness. But hey, at least when I was being a lector, it helps me speak better in public and allowed me to show more confidence than in reality I had been. I was able to keep calm and speak pretty well even when I was on my way to read one time, my sheet fell apart while I was walking to the podium. I pretty much fell and just got back up and continued. Lord, I was embarrassed, Lord, and on the way back I had to grab a chunk of shoe as I was going to the pew. My mom pretty much made fun of me the rest of the service. But accidents happen, just like an accident, because that box can go anywhere, including your facial area. But not all my dogs have been that exciting. A great example is being part of Veterans. While it was a great learning experience on church politics and finances, it was very confusing, and the majority of the time, I had no clue what was going on, or what some of the things mentioned were. It wasn't like when I was growing up, we learned about this in Sunday school. I really felt like I contributed a little. The only time I did was during the retreat and teaching some of the facts about the United States alignment and how women started to get involved with the church during this period. And how this was related to why our church was known as the Chick Church, according to Tom. And why it was totally fine with being known as the Chick Church. For one, why would it be bad if the majority of our staff were women? It's not a bad thing. And two, it's been part of our nation for the majority of its lifetime. Well, moving on. I'll just state that I am considered a cradle Episcopalian, meaning how I was born and raised in the parish. From this, I was able to see how the parish has changed and grown. There are more people here than before, and some have even left. We've also redone a huge portion of church and added on to it. So growing up in this parish has allowed me to see these changes. While I never want this church to change, as I see it pretty amazing just the way it is, I understand, for things to become better and continue to grow and improve, things have to. I know many of you who've been here for my whole life have watched me grow. From being baptized, coloring the little books as the service went on, then going to Sunday school and the bridge service. Later being confirmed, and now you're seeing me graduate high school and going to college. I really appreciate and thank you all for being here and watching me grow as a person, from a child to the adult I am today. I realized how much I grew. I'm not the same middle schooler who felt she was kind of above church and wanted to hang with the high schoolers in the youth room and watch movies till we get caught by Miss Debbie. And for all you younger kids, I do not recommend this activity. Church is important, but should not be taken for granted. St. Matthew's is very intertwined with my life. It's a place where I met some of my best friends, which I can only hope will stay lifelong friends. For we have not only become church friends, we are family. We hang out inside of church, we go out to eat, see concerts, study together, and even care enough to be there for one another. I can't imagine my life without them. Though the sad thing is, it took me a real long time to become even close to one of them, my fellow senior Kimberly. She is one of the few people I'm really close to, and we didn't even become friends till our freshman year of high school. While we grew up together, I always thought she was weird, and missed out on how cool she really is. But I have to thank Miss Trish. The most for without it, I wouldn't have met her, or Taylor, or Margaret, or Lynn, or everybody. I'm extremely grateful for this, and this opportunity to love and meet these people. Though I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, as I'll be going to U of L and will continue to go to church as normal, I feel this is a goodbye. A goodbye to friends, and a goodbye to childhood. Thank you all for being here with me.
Home is where the heart is, and this church has been the second home to me throughout my life, and that will always be in my heart. And in my time at St. Matthew's Episcopal Church has definitely kept me in touch with God, friends, and family. For those of you who don't know who I am Bryce Schmidt. I'm 18, and I'm graduating high school this year. I'm planning on going to Indiana University Southeast in Purdue to study animation and graphic design, and an experience I'm excited to begin. Some of my experiences I have had throughout my life have revolved around my home, my school, and my family and friends. But this church has given me some experiences that I know I will never forget. I was pretty much introduced to this church at birth, and it's been a part of my life ever since. I was baptized here. This church is where I received communion for the first time. And for my entire life, this has been a place I am familiar with, and have grown and changed with me. And that's not something I can say for most things. And that's what I think makes this place so important. Some of the most eye-opening experiences for me would come from food pantry and some of the people I had the pleasure of working with and meeting at food pantry. I was able to help those who needed and give them something to look forward to and really just do something good for another person. I don't remember a sad face in that room while I was there helping. This place was a childhood home for me. And I remember being in Sunday school and going on Easter egg hunts and making friends in the church. Ever since I was a small child, I felt accepted and that I always will be. I remember running through the halls and my mom would always panic. And Miss Debbie would always defend me and say, "Let kids be kids." And as a kid, I felt free. I don't necessarily feel like a kid anymore, but I feel free to express myself, which most churches aren't known for. But I think we are. And as I got older, I began to go on trips with youth group and began to set up the Easter egg hunts and other things like the Halloween haunted house. There have been times where my parents couldn't find me, and they would have to listen for the music that I would always play on the piano, or I would always find one somehow in the church. Something else the church has given me would be Cornerstone. And if you don't know what Cornerstone is, it's essentially a place where parents take classes. And while that is going on, others and myself volunteer to watch over their children. There have been times where there are 40 or 50 kids and only 3 or 4 volunteers. And it has been, well, a bit of a madhouse. But I enjoyed every second of it and what it gave back to me. I got to interact with these children and get to know them. And they wanted to know me. For me, I was always excited to go watch them. It was something I looked forward to. I remember insisting we go twice a month instead of once a month like the church does currently. It's not a hard task or anything of the sort, but it is purely helpful for the struggling parents and families to give them a break while they learn to better their families into something to be proud of, because home is where the heart is. And even though I haven't been to church as much as I would like recently, I still feel the power of this place. I would like to thank everyone here for your support and kindness through the years. That is the strength I can draw from the next chapter and experiences that are soon to come. Thank you.
So I was reading through my speech and I realized I never introduced myself in it. So I'm Kimberly Sparks. I've always been a part of this church. My parents worked in the ministry downstairs for close to 20 years, making me about as connected as I can get. I remember going to church school, then the bridge service for elementary kids. After bridge, since it only goes for like the first 30 minutes of the service, kids are supposed to go sit with their parents. Mine were downstairs working, so I didn't exactly know what to do with myself. When I was younger, I sat with my Aunt Sissy in the choir, and I would just sit in the back of the choir section with her. And then eventually I migrated to the back pew, where I would just sit by myself. I imagine everybody was probably like, whose kid is that? Just sitting by yourself in the back. And I'd pull out my markers or coloring books or chapter book or whatever I had that day to occupy myself. And, pay attention more to that than what's going on in the service. One of my favorite years was the year when there was a nest of birds in the tree right behind where my little spot was, and I'd get distracted by their chirping. But as I got older, I had more things I was involved in. I was officially a part of the youth group in 6th grade, which meant I was finally in with the cool kids. Afternoon activities, discussion versus crafts, super awesome snacks. I mean, it was just great. Well, youth group also meant acting, so I got into that. This one time, they wanted me to act like for this, I think diocesan convention is what the name was. And, there were rectors from churches across the state filling up like half the pews in the church. And big in front of it, bishop was there and everything. And I had pretty much one job, carry the cross from back door to here and back. And I remember there's a little metal bar that holds the cross in place so that it doesn't fall over. And it got stuck that day. And so I'm over there while everybody's watching me trying to be angry. Some of the ladies in the choir section tried helping me yank it out. It didn't work. Finally, Miss Kosh managed to get over there and pull it out. So I could, process out. I like to think no one noticed, but they did. Probably the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life at church. But I also had the pleasure of working on the search committee. Might not sound fun in all the meetings and responsibilities, but I loved it. Between the traveling and secrecy, I basically felt like a secret agent. My parents would ask me for more info about this or that, and I'd be like, oh, sorry, can't tell you. Which was great. And of course, I like knowing that we did such a good job. But another great part of it was getting closer with a lot of people in the parish that I didn't really know before, and learning more about the different points of view in the congregation. As a youth or a choir member, whatever your group you're in, it's easy to sort of get stuck in your little niche. My niche was youth group, so I hadn't really, met some of the other people in the congregation. I just sort of stuck with the people that were my age. And so getting to meet some other people and branch out a bit and meeting a lot of cool people was great. I've always liked doing some of these activities in church. Like, we'd have the big intergenerational convention sort of things. And I actually taught making rosaries when I had it. And it's always been one of the